This Penn State USC game defied all logic. What even was this? Can you imagine if I pull you aside Friday? I'm trying to give you padlock stats, right? So on Friday, I tell you, here's what's about to go down. USC will outrush Penn State 189 to 118. USC will win the turnover battle while outrushing USC. Well, Colin, this will sound better. USC will win the turnover battle while they also outrush Penn State. They'll win the turnover battle 3-1. Drew Aller, Penn State quarterback, will have to attempt 43 passes. No Penn State wide receiver will have more than 3 receptions, which mathematically, how does that even happen? I'll tell you in a second. Nick Singleton, who we thought may be the key player in this game, 10 carries for 26 yards. Who won? Penn State won this game. How? The answer is a living, breathing superhero amongst us by the name of Tyler Warren. Fit him for a cape, not a football uniform. 17 receptions for 224 yards and a touchdown. And you may be like, that's a good career. No, it was a Saturday. That was his Saturday stat line. 17 receptions at the tight end position, although he played everywhere. 224 yards and a touchdown. Jesse, how come you guys didn't let him throw the ball 5 or 6 times? This was a really important moment because this was a 5 Chalai Classic of a game. I watched a majority of this in the Oregon press box. 5 Chalai Classic. It delivered in every way that a game could deliver, and it went to overtime, and it was in sunny Southern California, just picture-perfect college football. Plus, really good uniform game. USC, Penn State, nobody screwed with the uniform combinations. Really good uniform game. This was an important moment for Drew Aller. This was his Forrest Gump leg brace game. Forrest Gump walked around peg-legged as a kid, and you're wondering, is he ever going to amount to anything athletically? And then all of a sudden, the leg braces broke off, and he can run like the wind blows. Drew Aller's figurative leg braces sort of felt like they came off yesterday. I was scrolling at halftime, seeing people tear him up a little bit, seeing people say, oh, Drew Aller, he just is who he is. And then he came out in the second half and kind of took over the game. They were down 20-6, I think, at halftime, and he took over the game in the second half. And they had 2 fourth-down conversions late in a drive. They did some things yesterday because they had to. They were put in a position to. He made some mistakes early, which in retrospect I'm glad happened because it put him in a position to have to just let him drop a little bit and go win a game. And your running game isn't there. You've got to go win a game. He threw the ball 43 times. It's not a position I ever thought I wanted Penn State to be in. But they were, and they won the game. He had a slower start, turnover, and all that stuff. They ended up winning the game. This is a really bad look for Lincoln Riley. No 2 ways to spin that. We thought Penn State would win and USC would cover, and that happened. Somehow we did thread the needle on that. You got the game you wanted. You got it. I just read you all the stuff. You got the game you wanted. You led 20-6 at the half. You limited them on the ground. You made them throw to beat you. Lincoln Riley dialed it up in the first half, too. The screens and the misdirection. It could not have felt any better until it didn't. And the thing about all that is, how frequently are you really going to shut down a team like Penn State running the ball? How frequently are you going to beat them +2 in turnover margin at home, like your back's against the wall, pure desperation mode? Every advantage that you could have tilted your way, you still couldn't find a way to win it. And I'm not selling on the team or anything like that. I'm willing to have patience with him, but the fan base isn't. They're not willing to have patience with you. And so it's not a good look. It's not a good look, and it's also an equally bad kind of coincidence, if you want to call it that you had this lead squandered because you couldn't take control of a game on the same day that Oregon, up the coast, beat Ohio State. And the reason that matters is because Oregon and USC have sort of been running dual experiments. They're running the Lincoln Riley experiment in LA. They're running the Dan Lanning experiment in Eugene. And one of them's paying off a lot more right now than the other one is. And one of them, in a far less talent-rich portion of the country, has found a way to build better than the guy in Southern California's built, specifically from the inside out. They take recruiting more seriously at Oregon. They take building on the lines of scrimmage and having versatility and high-level depth more seriously. Notice I didn't say they don't take it serious at USC. I said they've taken it more seriously at Oregon. And look, if I were on the USC coaching staff, I'd be yelling at the screen right now. I'd be calling me every name in the book. Because what it makes it sound like is I think they're not serious about it. I don't doubt they're serious about it. I'm telling you, there is like a maniacal, completely zoned in, nothing else matters, horse racing blinders on approach you have to recruiting. You have to recruit every quarter hour of every day to win at this level in college football. And I don't think they've done it there. I don't think that's the mentality. And the problem is it is the mentality at enough other places to where you're going to get exposed. So now they are 3-3. They've got 3 conference losses already. And while I am willing personally to have a little bit of patience because there is defensive improvement there, it is not a bad team. And I think that it can trend in the right direction year over year. I don't know that everyone else feels that way. They've got a bye. They go to Wisconsin. Where are we at right here? Oh, they go to Maryland, Rutgers, at Washington. I'm thinking about someone else. It's tough. It's tough because I know if one thing happens differently than everyone's praising USC today, I would be too. That's why I'm not trying to be too harsh because I know how thin the lines are and how small the margins are, and fractions of inches in this game. But now the odds to win the Big Ten are starting to come into focus. So Oregon and Ohio State are 1-2. Penn State's 3. It's a 3-team race up there. I am not going to sit here and say that because of last night's result in Eugene, boy, that's just part 1. Part 2's coming up in Indianapolis. Well, Oregon will probably be there. I don't know that Ohio State will be there. And you want to know why? Because of what Colin is showing you on the screen right now. They got to go to State College in a few weeks. Ohio State had 2 really, really tough road games this year. One of them was last night. The other one is November 2nd. There's a world where maybe you are the second best team in the Big Ten, but you get clipped twice on the road. Or, hey, there's this other world, too, where what we saw from Drew Aller last night is just a precursor of things to come, and this team's about to scale up, and maybe Penn State's one of the first or second best teams in the Big Ten. Just because you think you know, just because I think I know, doesn't mean anything. Also, this college football, and there are people who are anywhere from 18 to 22 years old playing it, something crazy happens in this sport every now and then where a team is one thing and then they become another thing. And the ones that are the best versions of themselves, they improve over the course of a year. So let's keep an eye on Penn State. I've got the white t-shirt on. Of course, I'll keep an eye on them.